Yeah. Welcome back from the break, Rams. With Thanksgiving just over a week away, we here at CTV Sports wanted to get in the spirit and decide which Thanksgiving staples best fit some of the biggest sports at CSU. First off, we have the flagship sport for most schools across the country, football. Now, I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me on this one, but I feel like football and turkey just make sense. It's the star of the show. It's the one that they associate most, football, college, turkey, Thanksgiving. They just go hand in hand. But both of them here at CSU and for Thanksgiving, overrated. Football, they're not great here. Turkey, you need to pair it with other things in order for it to be good. Maybe my family just isn't the best at cooking, but the turkey always comes out dry, and I just do not have a good time eating it without gravy, without cranberry sauce, without mashed potatoes. Football, same thing. You need to add something to it. You need to go with friends. You need to go to a tailgate because the games themselves just aren't a good time.
Yeah.
So that's why I compared turkey to football.
No, look, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
But up next, here's what I thought about women's tennis. For women's tennis, I went with stuffing because I think women's tennis is always dominating. They're always at the top of those stats after the games. And stuffing is also one of those things I think is just a top tier piece of the meal. I think that's easily a good comparison.
Now, Mike, I agree with you that the tennis team here at CSU is underrated and a really, really good team, but stuffing is just not up there for me. It's just not the best.
That's a personal thing.
No, it's just not good. I don't love it.
Stuffing is goated.
Thank you. And the women's tennis team is quite goated this year.
I agree with that part of it, but I think they deserve better than stuffing, is what I'm saying.
You can give them better than stuffing. For me, stuffing is
cranberry
top
sauce.
tier.
How about that?
No, definitely not cranberry sauce.
And jumping back to football just for a second, I thought like you said with football, you needed something, and football is good. It has been good at CSU, and it can be good. They just need like a couple things like a good offense.
Seasoning, that extra thing.
Because Turkey's had some good years.
Yeah,
and
no,
so has our football.
I've had one or two good turkeys in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had one or two good football games.
Every Morrow's doing great things. Tori Horton's coming back next year, so.
Yeah.
But Mike, tennis deserves better than stuffing. That's just personal thing. Apple pie. There were so many other good options you could have given our tennis team, and you went with stuffing. Disrespectful. But moving on, here's arguably the most popular sport on this list, men's basketball. Now, I feel like this is also an obvious choice, but maybe it's a little biased because it's my opinion, mashed potatoes.
I think it's a good choice.
Men's basketball at CSU, everyone loves it, everyone has it, everyone always goes for it first. That's the sport everyone goes to first. And when mashed potatoes are on that table, that is what I'm reaching for first. You know what I mean? That's what I want the most of my plate on before everyone else takes it.
I think mashed potatoes is a good player too, and I think our team, at least the way I've seen it, is a good team.
Yeah,
so I think
absolutely.
they really match well.
Yeah. Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, even on years where they're having to rebuild like this one, it's still a solid option, and
Exactly.
everyone is looking forward to the conference slate for men's basketball, and they're looking forward to mashed potatoes.
Now, there was one other explanation I had. Mashed potatoes don't make the best leftovers, and CSU does have some of those rougher games when they shouldn't. Turkey is a good leftover, so those are two kind of issues you got to compare a little bit.
That's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah.
And all right, now let's bring it to my pick for cross country. For cross country, I went with gravy because I think gravy is a super underappreciated piece of the meal, just like cross country, which barely gets any coverage. I think with that no coverage and gravy not being talked about that much, which I think obviously the best topping, I think cross country was amazing this year, so I think it goes hand in hand.
The issue I have with your argument, gravy is the coverage. CSU doesn't, or cross country doesn't get the coverage.
I don't think gravy gets the coverage either. I think you're always talking about turkey, you're talking about stuffing. I think you're even talking about maybe cranberry sauce more sometimes. So I think gravy is definitely underappreciated, just like our cross country team.
No, but I do agree with you. Cross country does not get enough credit for the numbers that they are able to put up. Absolutely. Greg?
I think cross country, again, doesn't get covered, and it really should because it's one of our best performing teams out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And with that, let's roll into some volleyball. And speaking of rolls, I just had to compare these two. CSU women's volleyball and the dinner roll just work. The rolls are something you kind of forget about until they're on the table, and I know they make you excited as soon as you see them there and end up being one of the best things on your plate. Now, volleyball, it's not really talked about in the off season, and people kind of forget about it coming into the year. But once they get in their groove, they're one of our best teams, best performers consistently. And I think that's why they match up perfectly with the bread. Never fails, always good, always reliable, consistent, everything.
I think your reasoning is good, but I also think that it's good because it's good with other things. Like you can do it with other things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's also a good appetizer for the other things at Thanksgiving. And volleyball is a great appetizer for it's like the starting course for CSU athletics.
Oh, absolutely. Right into basketball season.
Right into basketball season, and then into like the bigger conference football games, even though they're not that competitive sometimes.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that.
It's just like, even though it's not good football, it's at least fun time.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. Now let's move on to our last two sports, starting with women's soccer. Now, I think this is a very personal pick, as I am not a huge fan of cranberry sauce, and women's soccer definitely didn't have the best year. So I think these two go hand in hand, because cranberry sauce is not very high on my list, and soccer is not very high on CSU athletics list.
Mike, I'm passionate about this one, and you know that. I am a lover of cranberry sauce. Put it on everything, my mashed potatoes, my turkey, even my bread sometimes, which sounds weird, but I promise it's good. And I'm not saying our soccer team was good. That is not what I'm saying.
I get it.
What I'm saying is that they deserved something more like stuffing. You know what I mean?
Not in my opinion.
I have to agree with you, Mike, that it is the cranberry sauce of CSU athletics.
Yeah.
And with that, Rams, we have reached the end of our show. We hope you have a restful break and great Thanksgiving. Of course, we'll see you after the time off, but in the meantime, make sure to tune into the last CTV Beats show of the semester tomorrow at 7 in the evening. Thank you all so much, and we hope you have a great night.